So welcome everybody to the incredible Javier show on Eyekon Radio. I got two special guests today from season 3 of Revenge Body. We got Carolina and Ariel.
Hello.
Yeah, and it's crazy because our anniversary episodes are coming up. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
You're
Carolina
right.
next week, right?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And Ariel at the end of the month.
In August. Yeah.
So now what? 2 years. It's 2 years since we did the work, and then it was a year after it got aired.
Yeah. So let me ask, just to get started, how has life been since the close of production for you guys? We'll start with Carolina.
Go ahead.
So I still trained with Law after. Her and I still stayed super connected. She's like a friend for me for life. We just get along so well. I think I did struggle though with trying to figure out balance. I didn't have balance on understanding, like I knew how to eat, but with every goal that you create, you have to create a new way of eating. So my headspace was definitely there, but I mean, you gain weight after the show. That's just a given, and you fluctuate after. So that was for me. Like that was just like for me, that was what I dealt with.
And Ariel?
I mean, it's been up and down. I think that there's just when you're naturally under the stress of people are going to see this, Khloe Kardashian's name's attached to it. Like you have this added pressure that's already kind of making you lose extra weight. Like you definitely are more motivated. And once the cameras get turned off, like all that kind of goes away and you have to find yourself. There have certainly been parts of it that have stuck and will stick with me for life. Like the big thing with my training was steps, and I still to this day 15,000 steps a day. Like and that's even higher than what my goal was during the show. So that's there. Diet up and down for a lot of reasons. Like whatever, it's life, and obviously quarantine has been lots of fun on everybody.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Something both of you guys said. I'm gonna put together the quarantine and Carolina, how you said you have to change your diet, right? With every. So what's crazy for me is I had my diet set because I was walking to work every day, running back home, and hitting the gym 6 times a day. I was burning calories like a motherfucker. Yes. So I needed carbs. Yeah. I needed a lot of carbs and I needed a lot of protein. Well, with working from home, a lot of that stopped. You know what I mean? So I'm working out, but not as much. And I said, how the hell am I gaining weight? I'm working out like a madman. And I just maybe about 2 weeks ago said, I really need to change my diet because I'm not burning the calories that I had before.
Oh yeah. See, and the one thing that I learned with Law, right? I was very grateful because for the show, she taught me how to cook and eat. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the times, I don't know if you guys have seen the previous seasons where it's like they send them food or they have like a food service. Like that's all provided by the show. But then once you're done with the show, that all goes away, right? So it's having to have the mindset, because I always say like it's mind, body, soul. It really has to start with the headspace of how bad do you want this? And how consistent are you going to stay? Now, granted, life happens. Then you pick yourself up. You fall down, you pick yourself up. We've all been there and done that. There was a point that I got a little it's funny because Law was like, you're eating right. We're working out 3 or 4 times a week. You're doing cardio on your own, but you're still puffy. And even though I had gained, because remember, the scale's not your friend, people. The scale is bullshit.
Never.
Okay?
It fluctuates like minute to minute. Really, don't ever pay attention to it.
It's really not when I revealed to everybody how much I weigh at the end of my journey. It's like at the end of the day, muscle. It's all about the muscle mass. And Law built so much muscle for me during the show and after the show when I trained with her and still train with her and train with other trainers. But it's the nutrition, right? So now that I'm on my JLo abs and I'm on another level of I gotta go hard, I gotta go big. It's eating a completely different way than I did from the show, but it's the discipline that has to be there, right? It's I haven't had alcohol this entire quarantine and everybody freaks out because they're like, you haven't had tequila, you haven't had champagne, and I'm like, no, because I have goals, I have goals.
You're one of the few.
I mean, well, but it's just we're all so different too, and we all have different lives, and And I'm no better than anybody. It's just that, you know, I've just become a firm believer, like when you really, really want something, you make it happen. Just like dating, right, Javier? Like when a guy really wants somebody, like make it happen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And
Yeah.
let me ask, I want to talk a little bit about our time on the show. It's crazy because all of us are season 3. You know what I mean? So that's just crazy. Right? And so how was my like introduction to the show was kind of crazy because, you know, I had to go in the ring, but you guys also had crazy introductions. I know, Carolina, how was it when you got the knock on the door?
Oh yeah, no, they didn't tell me anything. Mind you, they put pizza in my refrigerator. There were all this junk food that I was like, I don't own any of this, right? I was like, you guys, and then Larissa's the best. Larissa's like, you have to eat this pizza, and I'm like, what? So, you know, take after take of me eating pizza and pizza and well, it's because homegirl wanted me to throw up when I worked out later. And I hear a knock on the door, and they're looking at me like, oh, is it a guest of yours as we're filming? And I'm like, no. So when I open the door, like that's a genuine reaction where I'm like, holy fuck. And you know, we don't know our trainer until we like meet them, right? So when I see that it's Law, I'm like, fuck. I was like, this one's the one. She fires everybody. I was like, dang, I really got it. Like, I really got it made. I gotta go all out. So that's my experience with that.
And Ariel, how was it for you the first day?
I also remember so my first day was actually one of the white screen interviews. I went in, it was interviewed before much had even really happened. I'm pretty sure that was what had happened. Oh, it was the Khloe interview. That's what happened. And then like a few days later, they came to our house. They set us up with like all these foods, and they were things that were normal in my fridge and normal in my pantry, but they brought specific food items to the front. Like in my episode, they bring out all those effing chocolate chips. Like, I'm a caterer. Like, none of that was put into context. Like, honestly, like it's not like I sit around like shoveling chocolate chips in my mouth. Like on a bad day, maybe, but it wasn't like, you know, a normal thing. Like, not at all. So I was in the middle of them filming me making cookies. They had gotten rid of my kid and my husband, and the door knocked, and I wasn't sure if like that was my neighbor, and I was like, am I supposed to get that in the middle of filming? Like, I had no idea, like it was part of the gist. So when I opened the door, it's also like a genuine like, oh shit, like, oh my god, it's Harley. And he was the last person I was expecting, because not at all that I wasn't thrilled. I totally was familiar with his program, and I was really excited to get into it. I had asked for other trainers, and I thought that because like I had been so like over dramatic about like who I had like thought I was getting, that was just going to happen, because they would cut it together and it would have looked good for TV. I don't know, whatever. But when it was Harley, I was like, I've seen his episodes. He's scary. And there's a girl that like, I remember Krista's episode, like she just fell in love with him and like hit on him the whole episode, which is just phenomenal. So I was like, either I'm gonna love him or I'm gonna hate him. And you know, it was from there, he like sent me on this gigantic walk. He bailed on me. He wasn't there at the park. It's all part of the episode. And from there, every single day since then, I don't think there's been a day since that, at the very least, I haven't hit 10,000 steps. So you give him credit there, for sure. So it was a defining moment. But you went straight in the ring, Javi. So let's hear that.
Well, you know what's crazy? Even before we get into that, the one thing you guys said that was exactly the same for all of our episodes, it sounds like, is the cooking. Because the way they had Rosie cook was with a lot. She doesn't cook carne asada like that. You know what I mean? And she was even telling me like, Mexican people are gonna hate on me because they're gonna think I cook this. This is not the way I cook. You know what I mean? And she's like, I'm gonna put a disclaimer, because they made her cook with a lot of grease, and it's just like a way that she doesn't normally cook. Yeah. So that was a tip, because they do want to set it up a certain way. You know?
Yeah.
The same as when they like put your gut out extra to make you look extra fluffy in the beginning. Like it has to look good for camera. It's like fake eyelashes at the end. Like they do it so you look amazing. Like it's all the same.
Yeah, no, it's all part of the big picture at the end of the day, right? I think that was one of the big conversations that I had with Larissa, was I never fought back with her on like, I had lashes, I had my hair done, I had the 9. And Larissa's like, I need you to let go of all that. I need you to just be bare. I need you to have no makeup. I need you to have, And I just was like, okay. And she was like, are you serious? Like, you're not gonna, and I go, no, I get it. Because at the end of the day, I know what the goal is. And the goal is that who's gonna connect with my story if I'm not raw, right? Who's gonna connect with me if I don't show them who I am? And that means crying. That means no makeup. That means showing how heavy and thick I was. That means being out of breath. That means being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's why so many people probably, I don't know about you guys, but like so many people probably reached out after the show because it's like you connect, you make connections.
Yeah, that vulnerability is definitely something that a lot of people are looking for because nobody wants a tough guy. You know what I mean? Like coming out like that, like, and that's what's crazy is because like going back to Ariel's question is when I first started, I thought like I'm fucking like I don't give a fuck. I'm a tough guy. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So when they tell me you're gonna go in there with Leon, like I didn't even know I didn't know he was my trainer. You know what I mean? I because I had watched the show like I was a fan of the show, but the only boxer training that I knew was Corey.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so fucking when Khloe had told me I was gonna have I was gonna do boxing, so that cool, I'm gonna get in there with Corey.
Yeah.
And when she said Santa Monica, it's like, oh, that's not where the studio's at, right? So I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. So like they tell me get in there, and it's crazy because they didn't show it on screen. They were like, you're gonna go, we're gonna wrap you up, you're gonna go in there next. I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And they wanted more of a emotion, right? They're like, you can't just go in there, you be like nonchalant. You gotta have. That was the thing for me. They always wanted emotion, and Larissa would always tell me, you need to show more emotion. But that's not like I'm a calm guy. You know what I mean?
You're an introvert. Yeah.
That's kind of difficult for me. But I went in there, and I swear I thought I was gonna knock Leon out. I said, I'm a fucking. I mean, he may have been in there with fighters, but he's never been in there with somebody like me.
Yeah.
That's my. You know what I mean? So, but I failed to realize I never been in there with somebody like him. You know what I mean? So when he started hitting body shots, I'm like, oh shit, that shit hurts. And I didn't realize how out of shape I was, even though I was huge. Like within 30 seconds, I was finished. You know what I mean? Like I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. And we went for 7 rounds. And what they didn't show is for the first 2 rounds, whenever the bell stopped, we would stop. And I would get water. And what they didn't show is after the second round, Larissa was like, just keep going. Because like you said, like she wants that vulnerability. She wants you to break. And like, so I knew what the camera wanted. I knew what she wanted. And I was like fighting against that where I'm like, I'm not going down. I'm not going to take a knee and I'm not going to stop. And we went for 7 rounds. And by the end, I remember I was just fucking exhausted. I couldn't even lift up my arms anymore. I was just a punching bag. You know what I mean? Like,
your episode is so well cut though. Like it's like watching a Rocky movie, like truly, like especially that scene. Like I remember watching it and being like, what? Like how is this not like on just mainstream everything, like in a movie theater? It's phenomenally done. Like, so at the very least, she definitely pulled it out of you and she got what she wanted. Like I'll give her that. Like she's got her motives, but she definitely, like, she knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah, no, Larissa definitely knows what she's doing. That's for sure. When I did my scene on the helicopter roof, she like the same thing, right? She tries to break you, and all good reasons. But like, she just was like, can you stop smiling? And I'm like, no, when I smile. I was like, I laugh, I smile. Like, that's just me. And I think we were on the roof for like 2 hours. So Allah and I were working out nonstop for 2 hours because I had done the first 2-3 rounds of working out. No problem. I wasn't dying. I wasn't breathing hard. I wasn't, but that's because I was already, like the thing that obviously isn't disclosed is that I was already on my journey working out prior to the show. I was much heavier before. I had lost weight on my own by myself. So it's just the universe and God just works in great ways where when they got me and I signed the contract, it was, I needed a trainer because I needed another level, right? It was another goal of losing weight to drop. And yeah, and I remember Law was like, she's like, are you going to get tired? She's like, I'll make you get tired. And I said, all right, let's go. I was like, let's do it. Fuck it. I'm like, and sure enough, the timing was right because then the sun was setting. So we were able, and it was a cloudy day. So the funny thing is that it was cloudy. Larissa was worried about the shot. And then just when the sun started to go down, the clouds started to open up. And she was like, this is a shot. We got to do it. So it was good. It was definitely, it was an adventure, and just, I'm so grateful for the experience because I love helping people, and it's given me a platform where now, like, you know, on my Instagram, it's like I help whoever reaches out to me. I give them whatever experience or knowledge I have, right? I'm not an expert, but I try to tell people, this is what worked for me. This is the knowledge I've gained. This is what I've done. But I've also been doing this for 3.5 years now. I've been working on it for 3.5 years, you know? So yeah, at least for me.
And one thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was interesting that I seen in a lot of the shows, and I didn't realize it until I experienced it myself, is that a huge part of the like fitness, your fitness journey, and I think a lot of us, you know, could agree, is mental health. And I didn't realize that until like I started, like, because I was really hard on myself, like really like, man, I'm just a fat boy and this shit sucks. I mean, and fucking I just quit, like, fucking I'm fat anyways, it doesn't matter. Like it's mental health is crazy. And how much of that did you guys experience while being on production with this and then afterwards?
It was definitely, for me, like I found that the vlogging was massively therapeutic, and like still to this day, like I kind of miss and find myself like itching to go just like talk it out, like whatever, like the thing I'm dealing with, my like weight is. So there were parts of it that I found deeply therapeutic. But there were then like a few parts of it that I think are, I think it's just the natural thing that happens to a lot of people. Like we opened up by saying, who go through all sorts of reality weight loss shows, Biggest Loser, Revenge Body on all seasons. Like there's kind of just like an ebb and a flow that comes and goes after the fact. And I think the pressure that I had personally put on myself to keep up with certain physical expectations. Like I remember like the weekend your episode aired, Javier, was the weekend I hit like my lowest weight ever. And I was stretching myself. Like I was doing heated spin, heated bar, and like walking 15,000 steps a day and not really taking in much calories. And it was really like, for what? Like I didn't realize like why I was putting so much pressure on myself. And ultimately that was really unhealthy. And so I've found myself like in a yo-yoing place, where it's come down to being more about health than it is like the pressure of dieting or standards or, oh, I have to lose weight in X amount of time. Like certainly the show has gotten rid of my expectations of timelines. Like don't need to do it in 12 weeks. It's definitely not necessary. Like that's not the only amount of time you're going to live your life. like Carolina said, she's been doing it for 3.5 years. Like it's a lifelong process. So I would say as far as the mental health aspect, like, yeah, it's been like, it was very therapeutic. The lack of it was kind of like an edge all of a sudden, and it's taken some time to find balance again, but it's also realizing you need to rely on yourself and obviously not the standards of reality TV.
Yeah. For me, you know, the really interesting thing was that, again, like I said, right, I was already in a place where I was already working on me, mind, body, and soul. I was already like, just doing me and mentally understanding what I had to work on. But what I learned so much on the show, and I give it to Law because, you know, Law is someone who's just so, she's the tough girl, right? On the show. She's the tough bitch that will fire you if you don't meet expectations, and she'll cut you. And it was so nice that I got to build a relationship with someone for a lifetime now, that because she was able to share and we were able to connect on the similarities of she lost her fiance and like I lost my husband, right? And having that vulnerability from her that she taught me and being on the show. So kind of like you, Javier, when you said like, oh, I'm a tough guy. Like I know this shit. Like I'm good. I went into the headspace of like, I'm here to do work. I'm here to execute. Let's fuck shit up, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to disappoint because I know myself. When I want to get something done, I'll get it done. But the emotional aspect was something that I wasn't expecting, which was I learned how beautiful and how much strength there is in being vulnerable than thinking that showing that vulnerability is being weak, right? And that was like a huge shift for me, where I learned it's okay that I don't always have it together. It's okay that, of course, I'm always going to miss my husband. It's okay to have moments. Like I had moments with La when we were working out in the gym where obviously they weren't filming, but I think even that aspect too, the fact that I still got to train with La every day. So we got to build a relationship. We got to build a connection. And I've seen in other episodes is that that's not the case with a lot of people. It's, you know, the second assistant. It's the, you know, sometimes they can do it, sometimes they can't. Because I get it. They're running businesses and stuff. But I was very lucky to have that one-on-one with La, but it wasn't just the physical. I always, like, her and I always talk and say that the weight that I lost on Revenge Body wasn't like weight that I couldn't lose on my own. It was weight that was emotional weight. At the moment I lost that emotional weight, it was just like the floodgates, right? It opened to, okay, new possibilities, new heights, new goals, new careers, like, and just all of that. So for me, like that was like my mental, like the mental part of it. And even for now, I think it's a constant learning, right? Like I'm always having to learn, and I always listen to podcasts and to, like, you know, people speaking on just like their perspective on vulnerability or their perspective on just mental health. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And so you're talking to now one thing you brought up is, you know, how you get to still work out with La, you know what I mean, which is real good. Have any of you guys had the chance to work out with anyone outside of like your coaches from the show, like other coaches from the show, or any other with any other castmates?
So we've done the Gloveworks thing, of course, which has been, you know, I've not been as consistent as other people, but that's been fantastic. And I've been to Lacey Stone's The Wall since well, not recently, obviously, but I've taken her class a few times just because I happen to be a big fan of hers and love her style. Unfortunately, like, Harley and I parted ways, and that was its own thing. I trained mainly with the associate trainer, Sydney, who is phenomenal. And frankly, like, she deserves so much. She's an incredible human being, and I wish that they had given her even a moment's airtime. And she's Lady Gaga's trainer. She is phenomenal, and she deserves all the credit in the world. So,
do you still talk to Sydney though, Ariel, or no?
Yeah, we're still connected on Instagram. We don't work out together as much anymore. She's unfortunately, just with quarantine and life, we've kind of just like living. Also, I live in the valley. She lives in the city. So we haven't been able to connect. And I fell into a completely different workout regimen, doing heated spin at a place called Sweat Cycle, where I was going and taking like anywhere between like 6 or 9 classes a week. Like, I became very, very enamored with that community and the heated spin thing. So.
Okay.
Yeah, the person that I got to work out to with was only once. I think you were the girl with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Luke is really energetic, and I could see like I loved it. They hooked me up with Leon, and I still work out with Leon. Like that's the boy right there. You know what I mean? But if
he's a fantastic human being,
I definitely have what like Luke. I wouldn't have minded being with Luke because he was real fucking fun. You know what I mean?
He was very fun, and that kind of workout, I can't really stand HIIT workouts. Like, I have the energy for it, but I don't want to use it for that. Like, I'd rather do other things. But he makes it so much fun, and he's just so hysterical. And I don't know if it's because he has an accent, but he's phenomenal. And of course, obviously, the twins, we love them, and they were his clients, and we absolutely have nothing but good things to say about them. So.
But I have to say, Javier, like, you've done a really good job of keeping everybody connected. It's been you, like I've said this from the beginning, you've been the glue for connecting everybody. And even just having a simple conversation interview like this right now, like, you know, that community didn't exist for the prior seasons. Like, the prior seasons have a community now because of what you created. Like,
I appreciate that. You know what's crazy about that is a lot of people, like, it comes from, like, it might sound crazy, but it comes from my history with gang culture, and the fact that, like, we look out for each other. Even if like I had boys I didn't even like, but I would take a bullet for them. You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at things. Still, like, I might have disagreements with people at certain times with certain things, but if anybody needs anything, like, if they hit me up, I'm never gonna be like, nah, fuck that person. I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, what do you need? You know what I mean? To me, it's like, we've all experienced something similar, and we all know what we're going through. We all know there's gonna be times where we're hit our lows. We all know there's times where we're gonna hit our highs. And nobody's ever trying to outshine anybody. It's always about, it's always a respect. You know what I mean? Love and respect. So for me, I've always treated like how I would treat my homies. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what do you guys need? I got you. And if I could get everybody connected, like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna ride together. You know what I mean? When it's time to ride, who's down to ride? You know what I mean? And I'm always that's the way I've always looked at it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that everybody has been willing to join in, because I've always loved it when we have a lot of people there from the show, because it's like, yeah, like let's go, and it kind of like there's
a special
bit
family.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a competitive side to me where if I see other people there, I can't be the weak link. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta go for it. You know what I mean? I gotta step this shit up.
That's huge of you to even be able to be transparent enough to say that. Do you know what I mean? Because you're right. At the end of the day, we all have competitiveness in us. That's why we did the show and how we got on. But that's so interesting on how that's the correlation with how you handled things. To me, I just, being an outsider and just looking in, I was just like, this is so sweet of you to take your time, right? To take your time to not only get to know everybody on a personal level, or to just even connect with them, but to also reach out, see, like the fact that, like, I'm someone who, you gather them, I'll hype them up, right? Because I like giving energy to people. I like giving positivity. Like, I like all of that. But it's like, you were so key and you were so instrumental for everybody to still even stay connected some way, somehow. At the end of the day, like, again, we all have situations, we all have things that we're going through and stuff like that. But it's like, we all want everybody to stay healthy. I mean, the reality is with COVID, that's one of the biggest things, is that your immune system's low. Well, guess what? If you're obese and you're overweight, your immune system is going to be affected. So
100%.
I mean, that's something that I always try to push to people that ask me, that I'm just like, look, if anything, do this to help your health against COVID. Like,
Yeah, because I had a friend, their uncle died. He had diabetes from COVID. You know what I mean? And it's like that does contribute to, like, that's a health risk. You know what I mean? Like. So if something
I recently, I mean, like, I'll just, like, spoiler alert, like, I'm documenting this for later, but I recently found out that I am diabetic, and, like, that is, like, an underlying condition, and I now have to be concerned for that. And, like, also, I'm sure we all have family members that have underlying conditions and are of age. Like, it's really a scary time, and taking care of your health is the best thing you can do. It's pretty much the only thing you can do if you really think about it. Like, yes, we can go and we should demand, for change and for resources and for help and for all of these things that all these movements are calling for. At the same time, we should very much understand that all we can do is our health and ourselves. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't be expected to take care of anybody else. So health first, certainly, especially in these times.
And I don't know about you guys, but like even when I was doing Revenge Body, I had a new president that I was getting up on board. I was working out at 5 a.m. I mean, I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a day. Like, and sleep is so huge with weight loss. I mean, rest, sleep, super huge for weight loss. But what I learned with COVID was just that I was on a track to a unhealthy, unsustainable lifestyle of waking up, working out 6 a.m., not getting home till like 9 or 10, maybe going to sleep at 11 and then doing it all over again, but working 12, 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? Which, because I've had to, the world globally, we've had to slow down. I've been able to hit these milestones of like my JLo abs of like, okay, I've hit here. I've been able to do this, the next level, because I have time back, right? And I think if there's anything COVID has taught, and I would hope would stick with everybody, is that family and health are the only things that matter. Money comes and goes.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Like, it's
well
just,
said.
Yeah.
Let me ask one thing I also wanted to bring up is you touched on a little bit earlier, Carolina, is how has it been for fans of the show reaching out to you? How has it been mainly positive and negative? And because I know negative sticks more. If you have seen any negative, how was that and how'd you deal with it?
I've actually been really, really lucky. I didn't have any trolls. I didn't have anybody come at me. Now, granted, I'm sure there are some people who know me and then saw the show and probably talk shit, but no one said it to my face, and I haven't heard anything. I've just been really, really grateful that everybody's just been so kind and so understanding, because I also communicate, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna mess up. I'm fluctuating in weight too. I'm frustrated right now with, I have my last 10 pounds before I hit my goal. And, my body is holding on to that hard. But they've just been so kind. And like recently I just hit 15K, and I was like, and it was random because someone had DM'd me. And these are people that have been, who watched the show, and it just like trickled over, right? Where people end up finding out I was on a show, and then they watch it and they're like, oh my God, I was following you before, but I didn't know you were on Revenge Body. And I'm like, oh yeah. And my biggest thing that I pride myself on is that I try very, very hard to respond back to all the messages, because even if it takes me days, if someone took the time out to write something to me, then I'm going to make the effort to respond back.
Definitely.
But it's been nice that just being able to communicate to people like, hey, this is my journey. This is, I'm a thick Latina. Like, I culturally, all we eat is red meat. Like, it was making a lifestyle change, and I'm so happy now. Like, yeah.
And how about for you, Ariel?
So I found that right before my episode aired, I had a little bit of drama with my trainer, that we've discussed privately behind the scenes. And that led to an unfortunate series of consequences where my trainer didn't he was deleting comments where I would notice there were comments where people would be like, who is this girl? How do I find her? And then they'd be gone. So I'm not really sure what was up with that. So I think that I became a little buried. I never really saw an influx of followers, and I'm not out for that stuff anyway, because I mean, that's not my game here. But I found a lot of messages specifically about the mints. I get messages all the time, probably 60 or 70 messages a week about the mints. Do the mints work? Do is this you in this ad? I keep seeing this, and then your profile, are you connect? What's the deal with this? And it's been a lot of conversation about do the mints work or not. And I guess I'll just declare right here that the addition of the mints that I had, and I was only given 10 of them in the very beginning and never anymore. I've never had the product that is currently on the market. They worked mostly, and that's it. That's my answer for everybody. And I think that because people see my episode as a promotional material thing, because that's what it was intended to be with Sweet Kick, my episode's kind of a big commercial. And I get a lot of questions about that specific thing, did I get paid for promoting Sweet Kick? And now that I kind of work with this other group, Sweet Defeat, what's the relationship is? So it's been an up and down journey. It's been a very strange one, but lots of DMs about specifically that. I get little traction about my weight loss, about the diabetes, about being a mom, almost none of that. It is exclusively about the mints and my trainer.
That's crazy. The only criticism I get, it is kind of weird. People be like, you don't look like a gangster. You don't look like you were I was like, I'm not supposed to. What the fuck? Why was that? All kinds of face tat.
You don't, and not even in person. I believe you could get scary, but you're such a sweetheart. Your aura is good.
Yeah, but that's what always just me out, because everybody's like, that's the main criticism I always get. You're not that tough and this and that. I don't care. It's so what? And what? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna come to my house and scare me? What? It tricks me out. It just tricks me out. I mean, just that. Yeah, but that's crazy. And so I know we discussed a lot about keeping up with the fitness. So what does your guys' routine look like at this point? Because you both said things change. The COVID came along, new goals came along. What do your guys' daily workouts look like now?
So before COVID, I was doing, again, 6 to 9 heated spin classes a week. I was going crazy. I was going to hopefully train to be a trainer there, a bunch of things, but I was gaining weight like crazy. Then COVID hit, and I broke out my glucometer from when I had gestational diabetes, and I've been tracking it and I've done several blood panels, and I have officially confirmed diabetes. So that has changed everything as far as diet. I was kind of sticking mainly to the principles of Harley's plan are found in many diets. It's largely the paleo diet, with a little bit of added dairy. So I find that generally is the cleanest way to eat, just as unprocessed food as possible. So that is something that has stuck. Steps are still consistent, and I'm a firm believer, frankly, that you can push yourself to go run and hustle as many miles as you want if that's your thing and you like that. That's totally cool. I'm a lazy bitch and I like to walk, and it will do the same thing. So you can just as well, if you walk a solid hour a day, you will see results even if you're not really changing your diet so much. So certainly with COVID, diabetes diagnosis, things have changed, but my current situation, I try to stick to as much of the paleo situation as possible, still getting as many steps as possible. Step counts is everything. And when and where I can, I do some lifting, and I have a bike that I have access to, so I still take on-demand spin classes and just whatever you have access to, even if it means in the beginning of COVID, I was lifting gallons of water, because weights, because I just didn't have anything else. So you do what you got to do at this time.
Definitely.
For me, it's so I was still working out with Law, I think, until mid-March, right? And then it was called done. I turned to, especially because of COVID, I'm someone who, again, when I'm highly motivated for something, I don't stop, right? So it was turning to hiking, right? But then the hikes got closed. And then I have a treadmill, but my biggest thing was I want muscle, right? And I knew I built it with Law, but I needed to lean out for my JLo abs. And so I started my JLo challenge in February. So I laughed because I technically was doing quarantine 2 weeks before quarantine happened, because I wasn't putting myself in bad situations, which I wasn't going out with my friends that were drinking, because I didn't build the tolerance to say no yet, right? And if I'm on a goal, I need to make it happen. So I was working out with Law pre-COVID. It was 3 or 4 times a week. And then I would do my own cardio 3 or 4 times during the week. And then just eat my salads, protein, pretty much very unprocessed anything. And then I switched it up, JLo challenge, and you're talking no carbs, no dairy, no anything fun or yucky, right? And I just learned so much about balance being such an important part of losing weight and taking my body to the next level, where I've now, right now, I weight train 3 times a week. I do cardio 4 times a week. So that could be hiking, that could be on the treadmill. But it's about working smarter, not harder. So it's making sure that your heart rate, right, spikes. So when people go hiking with me, I'm always trust me, I was that girl that 5-mile hike up and down hills, not a problem. I would go and never stop, right? And then Law one day was you're trying to burn fat. You need to do a hill, stop, breathe, let your heart rate drop, and then pick up again. And I was oh. And sure enough, the moment that I started to incorporate the heart rate dropping, right, it was I started to see the drop. And then I also do, and it's Law's friend, I also do Ellie's teas, and those teas have just been, they're natural, they're all natural, and they've just been so good on just balancing my body. My skin has just gotten better, my hair, my immune system, I could even say I just feel cleaner because I'm just eating so clean. I mean, I laugh and my family's always oh, try to have pozole, or and I'm I'm eating air, all right? I'm eating like a rabbit right now. I'm but it's okay, because when I get these JLo goals, we're good. So I do that. But again, I think if there's anything I can tell somebody about them going on their fitness journey is to remember that the pounds didn't come on overnight, and you can't take them off overnight, right? It's a process to be kind with your body, to be patient, but to also remember that it's a journey, and you have to be so proud of yourself on the way over. I mean, I think I've reflected a lot where, I'm proud of where I'm at, but I'm not done yet, you know?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
at least for me, that's my regimen.
And I'm glad that you brought up that it's a journey, because one thing that I think is left out a lot is how important rest is, and how important it is just to chill out a little, relax. What do you guys do to just chill and relax? You know what I mean? Like I know like you could walk or whatever, but I'm just talking about just relax, like just to ease off the tensions.
You're talking to a type personality. Do you know that it's so hard for me to take rest days? Like today was technically a rest day. I fucking worked out in the morning.
Same. Like every day that I don't like wake up and like get a walk in immediately or something feels like a total like just failing. It's like, oh shoot, like now I'm behind. Like it is. It's like it's very hard. I'm not really sure what the answer to that question is truly.
It's a struggle. Like everybody laughs at me when they're like, oh, what shows have you watched on Netflix? And I'm like, I don't sit down because I'm learning, again, balance, right? I'm learning to be better, where if I have time in the day where I'm done with my meetings and I'm done being on my laptop, I will be like, oh, let me reorganize the back storage room. Oh, let me clean the backyard. Oh, let me redo the front yard. Like, like I always find something, because I'm always like, there is always something to do. But I'm learning, Javier, I'm learning to sit down and relax with family, sit down and not have to do anything all day. Because I have learned that doing that, again, I've noticed my inches going in. Like I lose weight.
Yeah, I think it's really important. What I used to do is have like a certain rest day, but now I'm kind of like you guys, where certain times if I feel I'm not working, it's like I feel like I'm not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll work myself until I can't work anymore. And I'm like, I'm tired. My body's telling me something. I'm gonna chill this day, and I'll maybe go for a walk or do some stretches, anything like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get exactly what you guys are saying, because I'm the same way. Like I work from the house, so I'm doing that all day. Trying to hang out with the kids, trying to hang out with Rosie, and then I'm trying to do my YouTube videos.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way. You're doing so
well. Yeah, so
awesome.
You know what I mean? So I get exactly what you guys are saying, but Leon told me a long time ago, like, you gotta rest. Like, if you ain't resting, at one point, like, your body's gonna shut down, and you're gonna start to store fat, and you know what I mean? So
Stress is a real hormone. It'll kill you.
Well, I can contest to that, because in my journey, and like I've been documenting, putting on YouTube, right? In my journey, I learned the hard way that in the month of April, I was working out Monday through Saturday, right? You're talking lifting weights, you're talking running, you're talking hiking. I was nonstop, not resting, and it's like my body literally was like, oh, that's so cute. Fuck you. I'm gonna shut down. I'm not going to lose any weight, and you're just going to lose a month of traction in your journey.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from that, because at the end of the day, the journey is never linear, right? It's always like this. But that's the way to success. That's the way you grow. You have to fail. And trust me, I have failed a lot. I just don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one thing. That's a great point that you make, because even that could be rest in itself, where you're doing different workouts, but just not using the same muscles over and over, because you can't work out the same thing every day. You know what I mean? So maybe some people's rest days will be like core days, or they're just doing their core. You know what I mean? Like simple exercises where they're not using like large muscles in the legs or in the arms. You know what I mean? Or just stretches, or like Ariel said, just walks, you know what I mean? Just like nice, even like difficult walks, you know what I mean? You could even do that. You know,
uphill, baby. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And let me ask, because I was a fan of the show from before I went on. Were you guys fans of the show? And if so, who were the people that you were like, oh, I like that person. That person's like cool as fuck. And how was it if you had the opportunity to meet them?
Like trainer wise, or like from the like other participants?
Either way.
I was a fan of Cheryl before, and I certainly came into it, and I was like, I'm getting Lacey Stone. Like, she is going to be my trainer. Like, that was like, I was like gung ho, like Lacey Stone or Ashley. Like, that's who I am meant to be with. Like, whatever. So I was like really big fans of their workout programs, their things. Like, I had been following their careers, even before Revenge Body had brought them together. And they ended up both being phenomenal human beings. I have not been disappointed by anybody that I've met. They have all, I mean, Ashley is one of the most genuine people. She is so fantastic. As far as castmates too, like everybody's been incredibly nice. Like I was so excited to meet Will. I'm like, you're an icon. You're number one. Like you are top dog. So, and he's just a phenomenal person. Like truly, and certainly our season, like I'm in awe. Like the people that have like walked this path and come this show, it takes a certain type of person in the first place to do that. But we all, I would say, I mean, I stand in many of your guys' shadows. I feel because I am
Oh,
truly
no, not
humbled by your. No, I feel like you guys, your journeys like humble me. Like I truly am inspired and humbled by like everybody's story that I have seen, and everybody has been a stand up, like truly full of character person. Like I haven't met a bad person yet that has been like part of like the production. No.
Yeah. For me, it's nice that it's like, at least I haven't experienced anybody with egos, you know, like everybody's been like so nice and like so kind and stuff. I think definitely our season has just been more united, but again, Javier, that goes back to you. You've been the glue.
Yeah.
I will say, like, now that I reflect back, because I was so focused on like work and I was so focused on like my goal, my, you know, continuing to stay on track after the show and this and that I think for me, I would have wanted to make more of a connection with everybody, because I don't think I allowed myself to connect more with everybody else, right? Like there's few people like you guys that I've been able to connect with, but like all the other people that have been on the show, like Javier, like you've done, again, I admire how great you've been on just connecting. For me, I was just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm so focused on what I need to get done that I should have made a more of an effort to see how everybody else, right? But I haven't had any attitudes, no egos. Everybody's been pretty kind, which is nice, right? The guys have been super sweet. I saw, what's his face? I went to the Fit Expo and I saw him. He was with Corey, and he was our season. Why is his name?
Oh, Logan.
Logan, yes.
Logan,
So
yeah.
I saw Logan at the Fit Expo, and he was like, "Oh my God, how are you?" And I was like, "Hey."
He's
So
such a sweetie.
it's nice to be able to like run into people and to be like, "Oh my God, like what is up?" Right? So that's been cool. Yeah, originally I wanted, so funny story. I originally wanted Gunner, but it's because I had gone to see Dr. what's his name? Dr. G, his nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had seen him on my own when the first season came out. So he helped me when I first, and that was me, like a personal investment of my own, right? So I went to go see him when the show first aired, because I saw that he was on the episode, and I was like, if I'm gonna be a 10, right? I want Bruce Wayne. I want Clark Kent. Like if I want a 10, I gotta be a 10. That motherfucker's gonna get me to be a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I emailed him and I said, hey, you know, do you have any time? I'd love to like have a consultation with you, this and that. Sure enough, we hit it off. He was like, great. I think I was on his program for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I learned a lot, right? I learned a lot about my blood. I learned a lot about the nutrition, all of that. But his bestie is Gunner. So not even thinking about being on the show like 2 years later or whatever, right? Or like a year and a half later, when everything was happening, I remember I saw him at an interview and he was like, and I was like, hey. But I'm such a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, right? Like, and I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed that I was able to be paired up with La, just because she is the, you know, I told Larissa before I signed the contract, I said, you know, because they asked me, and I don't know if they asked you guys this question, but they asked me, they're like, you know, why should we give you the contract? And I looked at Larissa and I said, it don't matter if you give it to me or not. I'm still going to get this done. Do you want to film it? And she just, she's off. Okay, give her the contract. She's like, let's get this done, you know? And they knew with the strong personality, right? And the type A that I was, I told her, I said, I'll sign if I get a 5 a.m. workout because I need 5 a.m. because I got to be at SC by 7:30. I go, and that's a non-given, right? Because I don't know about you guys, I can't do evening workouts. I can't.
That's what I did. I did to the whole season. I did
and you were hustling with the mileage too. You would go for hours in the traffic in LA, like to Santa Monica. Like you were a hustler.
That's dedication, though, man. But see,
and Rosie with you too.
See, and the best part is that I love that Leon. He saw you weren't full of shit, dude. He saw you. He saw you were real, and he saw that you were really giving yourself a real chance for change, right? So when watching your episode and to see him be like, "Hey, you can't be doing this back and forth. Like, you need to stay here." That was smart. That was smart, dude. Like for sure. Especially
that's my dog right there. You know what's crazy is when I first started, I wanted a female trainer.
No way!
Yeah, because I didn't want another man trying to tell me what to do.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I didn't want that. Like, hey, you better I'd be like, hey, you better back the fuck up off me. You know what I mean? So like that's the way. Like, so I wanted a female trainer because I'm more used to that. Like, okay, she could whatever. Like, I'm not gonna strike a woman. She can tell me whatever. Like, I'll just do it. But for a male trainer, I just thought that'd be challenging. So, but it was crazy because they gave me the right trainer. Like we didn't bump heads not one time. You know what I mean? And it's crazy the way he did it because the way Leon has set it up is the way it is on the streets. So I'm used to that language where we're gonna get down. You know what I mean? We're gonna fight. And we fight it out and we earn each other's respects. So that was crazy. But the trainers I wanted at first, I either wanted Law or I wanted Ashley. You know, I wanted Law or Ashley, and it was crazy because when we went to the premiere for D-Ran's episode, I saw them together and I was like, "Can I get a picture with you guys?" And like, I was like, right there, like, yeah, like I got a picture with Law and Ashley, and yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's so funny because I was like, please don't give me Law. I know that she's probably what I need, but I don't think it's gonna go. I think I might like cry. Like it's not gonna, like, I'm a tough cookie, but like maybe like she might really, really get me. And like I was really not, I was like, please, maybe not Law. And I'm endlessly grateful I was paired with Harley because it was a fabulous experience. And like, I mean, I got to play basketball with Jason Sudeikis, and I got to hang out with Charlie Booth and like lift weights with Brad Palchuk, like amazing human beings themselves. And Harley himself is a phenomenal person who gave endless amounts of his time. Leon is an incredible trainer who he has given himself to the rest of us too, just in the time after, in a way that I would say that not that anybody's been wrong for not doing this, but he's also been part of the rallying effort and keeping the seasons connected and keeping us motivated, certainly, and accountable. Like I remember I wasn't there, but I heard about the time that he brought out the scale and he was like, okay guys, we're gonna track some progress now. If we're all coming here, we're gonna count these.
No way, he did that.
Yeah, Leon.
He was holding pictures accountable.
And as he should.
He's giving his,
we're holding up a good name.
He's giving his time. He's giving his resources, and like for all of us, none of us were paying for those sessions. You know what I mean? And it was fully staffed. You know what I mean? Fully staffed.
All of the trainers, they were so dedicated. They're the coolest people. Like everybody that works there, like, is just amazing. Brooke, like everybody.
You know what's crazy is Leon, talking about his personality. He juggles a lot of things, right? So when I was a kid, I had a huge crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt. Right? And it's crazy because I'm there, like when one of the times where he had me sleep over, I'm there, and he has Jennifer Love Hewitt in the ring. She's doing planks and shit. And he's like, all right, weigh in. I can't be with you in the back, so you're gonna have to weigh in right here next to the ring. Yeah. And I had to take off my shirt to weigh in. I was like, I can't. Jennifer Love Hewitt. I was like, I'll do it later, dog. He's like, no, do it right now. I was so fucking embarrassed, but
That's so
I didn't want to
funny.
say it, right? I was embarrassed, but I was like, fuck, man. So it's crazy because Jennifer Love Hewitt is like literally like a few feet away planking, and she's strong. Like she was planking, it's like 5 fucking minutes. I'm like, damn, she's not dropping. So I had to take off my shirt and weigh myself in front of Jennifer Love Hewitt. That was pretty crazy. I was like,
That's fun.
How is Leon doing with all of this COVID, Javier? How are things going?
Leon is like one of us, right? Like he is he's an introvert, like crazy, and it's crazy. Like you wouldn't imagine that because he connects with so many people. One thing I trip on Leon is he remembers everybody's fucking name. I'm like, how do you do that, man? Like, but like Leon, there's times where he gets, very emotional, and there's times where he's very fucking like pumped up, like let's go. You know what I mean? I think he's dealing with it just like anyone else. Like he's just, he's trying to make it happen, and he's doing what he has to do. And I always tip my hats off to him because he's doing voice work now. He's gonna be in a big movie coming up. Yes. So he's trying to expand.
That's cool.
You know?
Oh, which is smart. I think if anything, COVID is teaching us to be very flexible and like be creative in other like revenues of like income, right? I was gonna say he doesn't have anything like a GloveWorks like outside in a parking lot, or like he didn't like do anything like that for GloveWorks, or is it completely shut down?
It's virtual. Yes, virtual. All virtual classes, and you can choose a trainer of your choice at just about any time of the day. And Zoom, it's pretty crazy, and it's a great workout, especially for trainers that like they know who you are. So like if you're trying to slack off, like say if I'm hitting the bag, and just because I'm not at the gym, I'm just like I'm just gonna touch it out. I'm like harder, Avi, hit that shit harder. I'm like damn, all right, you know what I mean? So
do you do those workouts too still, or no?
Every now and then I will, yeah. It sucks though with time, like work and stuff. Like sometimes I'll miss a class or I won't be able to take certain classes. But I have to, a lot of trainers, like you know how it is. Like a lot of trainers have gone their own way and stuff. So I'm not familiar with a lot of the new trainers. But I got to get on there. I got to get on there and just be like, fuck it, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like. So I'm gonna be doing that soon. And before we wrap it up, I wanted to ask, where could we for anyone who's watching, where can we find more about you guys and what are you guys working on?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, so I'm on YouTube and on Instagram, Carilola4. That's my name for both. Working on my JLo abs really hard as I work full time with the whole COVID thing. But it's so crazy. I've just been hit up by a couple companies that I can't say anything just yet. But you know me, I'm someone who, if I'm going to attach my name to something, it's because I've done it, I've used it, and I believe in it. So like I've been hit up by other companies and, I'll try their product and I'm just like, no, it's sugar. Like, no, like I'm that person that will try that. Like I was that person 3 years ago. And then what is it? If you don't have a super strict nutritious diet, forget it. It's not going to work. Right. So, I'm very selective, but it's also because it's quality. I want people to have quality. But I'm trying really hard to have Nike and Lulu sponsor me because I got there. So I was like, Nike, get your shit together. Lulu, come on, get a Latina. But just doing that, working on myself, mind, body, and soul, and my Instagram is pretty much it's all of me, like 24/7. It's literally I post what I feel. So
that's 15,000 subscribers. So if you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. Make it 20,000. Let's do it.
Yeah, 50. Let's even go higher.
I know. Let's go. Make it.
And Ariel?
Me, I'm a caterer and a meal prep specialist, and I also do recipe development. So if anybody is looking for recipes and other things, like my website is going up hopefully at the end of this month. My Instagram is lately it's been a little slack, but usually is filled with tons of cooking and healthy eating, and things like that. So that is definitely a place to go if those are the kinds of things I am somebody who was a caterer before I lost the big chunk of weight that I had. So I had to learn how to adapt a very high standard for food and eating into a dietary complex of some kind. So if anybody's looking for like some seriously good ways to make dieting or whatever recipe plan meal plan you're following more interesting, that is certainly the place to go, is my Instagram. I am documenting my diabetes journey. So for anybody who's who's young and never been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, or even, well, I mean, I'm 28, so if any, just context, if anybody else is ever curious about that, that's definitely going up on my Instagram, and certainly at one point probably, and at the very least a YouTube. But yeah, stay on my Instagram. That's where the fun stuff is.
All right, I appreciate you guys both joining today, and these are two solid warriors right here, and you'll be seeing more of them. Appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thank you, Javi.
Oh, thank you for getting us again.
Yeah, I know. Right, you really are. Like, you're such a rallier. Like, it's very impressive. It's amazing. We really love it, and we appreciate it so much
for what you've done. So thank you for putting this platform together.
It really can't be understated, like how well of a job you've done.
I appreciate that. But thank you guys.
Also, go listen to his album because it's amazing. So do that.
Yeah, thank you. I don't promote enough. Everybody always tells me it's crazy. I get into working on something so much, then when I'm done, it's like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? I'm trying to work. I need to stop that because I do need to stop and promote. So get the album.
It's good
updated,
stuff.
Updated Javier Regoza, and that's
go.
we out. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.